I have the honor of having Mom with me today for a little talk, and we're going to answer 3 questions, or rather Mom's going to answer. I don't think I have too much to say on these topics because they're more along the lines of parenting and Mom's expertise as being a mother of 13 sons and 1 daughter. Mom's been in such high demand, even more than usual lately, because she has grandchildren now.
Yay.
Yeah.
One little girl and 1 little boy. And the boy is brand new, born on my birthday.
Only exactly a week old, because we're in the week.
He's very
from birthday.
puny and adorable.
He's so tiny, and it makes the first grandchild, the little girl, look relatively gigantic, even though she's only five months old, 15 pounds or
I know,
something.
she's nice and healthy. She's adorable, and she's real animated, so she's so much fun.
Yeah.
Little Nicholas is so tiny. His skin is way too big for him. You can kind of squish up his scalp skin, and you can see it's just way too big. His little arms and little legs. He looks like a little frog with the fat tummy, the tiny little hips. It's so cute. I've had a lot of fun being over there, giving them a hand.
This doesn't count as one of the questions, but just before we start with the 3 questions, what is it like to be a grandmother? I just thought of that just now. I was curious myself.
I've wondered for a long time. Everyone kept telling me how much I'm going to love being a grandmother, and I thought, well, that I thought my kids liked me best. They really didn't like their grandmas so much more or anything. I think maybe they'd like me best. But now, being a grandma, they're adorable, and I miss them so badly.
Yeah.
I almost can't believe that my sons and daughter-in-laws had the nerve to take the baby back to their house. I'm used to every baby that comes to our house is mine, and I get to keep them. But, it's fun. We've introduced a grandma bathing service. So I've been giving little Anne a bath on Sundays when it works out, if I catch her between naps and stuff. But she's so wiggly and splashy and cute. I think little Nicholas, it's a little early.
Yeah.
He's so tiny that 1 squirt of soap would take his whole little body. He's only a little over 6 pounds now.
Can you picture what it's going to be like in the next few years? And we don't know what the future holds, but just going by the odds, there are going to be a lot of grandkids. I wonder if Sunday is going to be like bath night, where you give baths to 5 grandkids. They're going to be close in age too.
I know.
Because everybody wants to have kids, and everybody's getting married so quickly, so it'll be interesting.
I know. Just already these 2 being 5 months. I never had my babies that close, and I don't think that could work. But they're just so precious. It's so much fun. I know our daughter-in-law, who has an older child, was saying, boy, the time just went so fast. She almost can't believe her baby ever was that small. And that's just 5 months ago. And it really does go so quickly. Personally, I love the newborn stage. They're so helpless. There's so much in denial that they're born. They just want to be all snuggled up and as tight as they were in their mommy's tummy. And they need to nurse constantly. And then, of course, they need to empty out constantly. And they're just so adorable. And they're startled by their own hiccups, their own sneezes, their own coughs. It's so cute. And it's just a real precious time, but it's scary. It's scary for a new parent to have such a tiny baby and to worry. There's not a lot of room for error if something was wrong. But they're doing a terrific job. I'm thrilled that the boys are such good daddies, and I've got such wonderful daughter-in-laws.
Like I said, we're going to do 3 questions today. I'm just happy to have Mom here, even for this short time. In our first question, what advice would you give to young mothers, maybe who are pregnant or just having their first baby? Is there anything that comes to mind since you've experienced it so many times?
Well, if you can remember to enjoy it, because it really does go by so quickly, especially the newborn stage. There are all those newborn outfits within a couple months, maybe 3 months, depending on how fast your little one grows. It's so precious, and it's over with. Each stage, even as they're a baby and are animated, that's just on the way to the next thing. It's sometime later on, some of your babies are going to double cross you. Instead of being a baby, turned a man. And no one told me I was having a man, but I'm very honored to be the mom of so many men and a wonderful woman. And it's really an honor, but to enjoy it and get in there and do everything you can to turn your kids into people that other people would like. Because it's really mean if we don't correct the kids and let them know when they're going the wrong way, if something they're saying is sassy or rude or impolite or whatever, or they're hurting someone's feelings, to let them know, because they're going to have to live in this world their whole lives. And if you can help them see the differences and understand where the walls are, the things you should do and the things you shouldn't do. And as a mother, I think that's a real big part of our job, is to correct our kids, not be mean to them, but let them know, honey, you can't say that. No, that's mean to say that. Don't say something that hurts someone's feelings. You wouldn't like someone to hurt your feelings. And kind of walk them through the real baby-fied steps, because they are babies. They are little kids just learning. And to jump on those chances, to train them. If you see them going the wrong way, Don't just say, oh, I'll deal with that later. Get off your bottom and do something about it right away while the kid knows what he's doing wrong.
Was it at all difficult to you once you started having, you had me, the first child, and then many others after, but was it difficult at first to remember that each baby was like resetting, didn't learn any of the things that I finally learned? Like, not that I was a genius as a 1-year-old, I just mean at least I maybe learned some basic things, like how to hold up my head up and all that. Was it kind of strange to reset on a new baby, or did you by then kind of know the pattern?
Yeah, no, actually, that wasn't hard for me at all. I actually was more afraid when I was pregnant with John, after you, that, it just kind of occurred to me when I was about 7 months along, like, oh no, I gave all my love to Paul. I'm not so about Paul. He's so adorable, he's so cute, and we got to know you so well. And I hope I have love for this baby. It's kind of neat to have this baby in me. I don't know who it is. And I love him, but I don't know who it is or anything. And I hope there's some left over for him. And then John got born. It's like, whoa, he got all my love also. It's like God just multiplied it. It's like somehow I had all my love to give again. And not only that, then to see you and John together, it was so adorable. How you kind of want to touch him. And it's like, hey, this kid has possibilities. Like someday I'm going to be able to play with him. And, like every year and a half, old baby, which you were, when they see a newborn, they want to go up and see, hey, that doll, is that real eyes? And so they poke the eye. They're not being bad. They just don't know if it's real. It almost looks real, and it is real, and they don't know better. And when they make a mistake like that, to teach, oh, no, we don't touch eyes, you touch soft. Here, and then like we had to bring you in closer to John, closer to me. It wasn't like, okay, I've got myself a new baby, you get out of the way, you might hurt him. But to bring you close and have you sit right next to me and he could be next to me and there's plenty of mommy to go around. And to just, really love your kids, realize how life looks like from their viewpoint. But no, actually I don't know, I just feel ready for a newborn all the time. They're always the funnest part to me. And after that, of course, you older guys would play with the little one. Daddy would be throwing the baby up and down and wrestling on the ground and all the things you can do with an older child. But, a new baby is like your doll that every girl wants when she's little. And it's like, that was the very precious time for me, once I wasn't scared of it.
That kind of leads into our second question. And we can only get to 3 today, but this is number 2 of 3. Were you ever scared of having children, like before you had kids or after you had 1 or 2? So we hear that, I just overhear you talking to a lot of young women and relatives and different people about that. Well,
before I ever had babies, I knew I wanted kids. I like kids so much. And, Daddy and I purposely picked out an old fixer-up house because we wanted space. We knew we wanted bunk beds and lots of kids. So that was kind of a given. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't scared of labor before I knew what it was. And in fact, we'd been going to prayer groups and they'd prayed over me so many times that it would be such good labor and everything would go good. I was actually a little afraid that you would just get born in bed and I wouldn't notice. That didn't quite happen. I actually noticed it very much, but it all went real well with you. It was hard, but we made it through. No medicine, no stitches, and very grateful. And you were so much in love with you. Now the next pregnancy with John, when I was in labor with him, I had back labor, and that makes a bad situation even worse. It really, really, really is a lot harder on a mom and harder on a dad trying to help. And after he was born, I remember thinking, my mom had 10 kids. How on earth did she do it? How did she make it through? And of course, she told me that their day they would knock them out. I don't know if they're totally knocked out or what, but as you got further along and just forceps, episiotomies, whole business. And we were trying so hard to make sure we do it naturally. And I am very grateful somehow we did make it through and with no stitches. It's like, thank you, Jesus. God really helped. But I was scared about having a third one. And I was always so happy to be pregnant, but it's like, I get to about 7 months. I think, oh no, it's like I built an airplane basement. There's only one way this is going to continue here and end. And I was really scared. It's like, oh man, what have I got myself into? Here we go again. And yet, I thought, but Mom did it. Mom did it 10 times. Somehow I could probably do it 3. And so I hung in there and I was able to have Mark. And then it's just like, after, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 kids after that, it's like I felt like, well, no, I can do it.
Yeah.
I know I can. I'm not going to be scared of that anymore. It's going to be intense for, maybe 24 hours of something, and then maybe the last 4 hours, pretty intense, and honestly, the last 2 hours, really, really intense. And then toward the very end, super duper intense. But then suddenly you get a baby. I don't know what all that pain has to do with having an adorable baby, but it does. And
it must be like the biggest contrast, because you're in the worst pain imaginable to not to get too off track, but I remember Jordan Peterson talking about Jesus and how it's the perfect, we don't look at it as a story, it's an actual reality, but that like the best possible person having the worst possible thing happening. So it's kind of but then the best possible outcome coming from it.
I never thought about that.
So I guess that's kind of how I look at birth must be like.
Yeah, it's, I know my daughter-in-law who just had a baby on my birthday, she's recovering right now, and we're trying to help her a little bit. But with that, I mean, she is in love with that baby, and my son's in love with that baby. We're all in love with that baby, and she doesn't regret it at all. Now, it was a Dickens. It really was. But it brought her and my son so much closer to each other. And he's so amazed. He's got the best wife in the world. Boy, look what she just did. And he looks at her as if she's the only one who ever had a baby, and is just such an amazing superwoman. And that's how it should be. Each of our husbands should look at that way, just like little kids should look at their mommy and daddy like they're the best. Mommy knows everything. Daddy knows everything. And of course, we all know we're failed, stupid people. We make mistakes, but we make the kids feel secure, and we're their security. And that it's just really wonderful watching it. I'm loving every minute of it.
Kind of on the same topic, but what do you run into more when you talk to women? There's of course the pain aspect, which is, I'm sure a lot of women just have fear about that, especially the unknown if you've never experienced it. But what about the fact, because a lot of times, just in even my experience, I don't get the emails you've gotten over the years, but like people just being afraid of having kids because of financially, or that it's going to, hurt their body, or it's going to ruin their life, or not. I mean, most people don't look at it that darkly, but just whatever fears about the responsibility of it. Do you run into that much when people write to you, or just?
I have in the past, like before people would know I had a crowd. They would be talking about how difficult and stuff, and then scared how they would provide and all. And yet I found the more that we had of you guys, Rick and I felt more like parents, and we had a real family. This is like, we really got down for the job. And honestly, I think if we only had you and John, we would have been more just dabbling in parenthood. And because of that, not that there was anything bad about, but that, when you have more, you have to kind of really get in there and get your focus on what needs to be done. And it's fun then. And suddenly you become a family. It's like, hey guys, how are we going to do this? Hey guys, let's do this. And there was a crowd to do something with. And, if you wanted to play ball with them, you could play ball with them. There was enough of them. And if you're having a meal, you could make a nice meal, and there'd be a crowd. People would want to help our little guys want to roll cookies. And I think it kind of made it easier to have a party all the time. A bigger family, it really is like a party. It also is a party for work. I know that you remember your one buddy who lived down the street. I think he's an only child. And he came over one day to play. And I said, oh, honey, you don't want to come over today. We're cleaning the basement. And he goes, oh, can I help? And it's like, no, honey, we're cleaning the basement. We really are cleaning the basement. And it's really messy. And he goes, oh, that's okay. There's nothing going on. I'm so bored. Could I help? And I said, well, I'll be bossing you around. You have to do whatever I say, because I'm going to make these guys do it. He goes, that's fine. Then give me something to do. And it's like, well, come on over. I couldn't believe it. I felt like, something just did not compute. A little boy wanting to clean the basement. But just said, you guys weren't just told to clean the basement. I was bossing you around, but I was telling you how to do it, and I was helping you do it. And okay, you go get a trash bag. All those go in the trash. This and this, that's giveaway. This is this. And we kind of had fun with it. And I think it was very bonding to us. And we've done that several times now, where some neighbor near my mom's house or whatever, that they just need help. Maybe they've got their lawn is way overdone, or someone needs their house finished, and we went in and just finished your house, rewired it, replumbed it, and got it all livable. And it's not only helped whoever we helped, but it was good for all of us. We found ourselves laughing and singing all the same dumb jokes, and we'd turn on some praise music and sing at the top of our lungs because there wasn't anyone to listen to it except us, and we're already used to our voices. And remember, God says a joyful noise. He doesn't say a pleasant one. And so we just let it rip, and we had a great time. And it's like you felt like you're really making a difference in someone's life and makes you feel good about yourself. So I would jump into that. Kids are not scary. Family is not scary. It's a trick. You have to really watch your budget. You have to deny yourself stuff. You can't have everything brand new because you've got brand new people, and you can't have everything. And brand new people who need loving, maybe it doesn't really matter if you have the fanciest this or fanciest that,
I think that's one of the secrets to our family that you and Dad set the tone for, was that you obviously put people first, and we felt that. And I think it's amazing how much that covers so many things, because I look at old home videos and I see like, wow, we were really struggling financially, but it didn't feel like that. Like, it felt like a challenge, but more like we were all in it together. It wasn't just like we were melting down, or everybody was just like, you and Dad were off, like focused on impressing somebody or getting rich or whatever it might be. So we always felt the love. So that was something that really just carried us so far.
Was true riches.
Yeah.
And I remember when we'd go for a walk uptown, and it takes some planning to get the stroller all packed, diaper bag, all that, have a drink along, for everybody getting thirsty. And, I'd package up little lunches for you and a little drink for you, and you'd each have like 50 cents that you could spend at the candy store. And you couldn't get 51 cents, you had 50 cents, and you guys had to figure the taxes with it. And it was adorable to watch how you guys would kind of go together. Hey guys, if we do this, we could get this big pack, and then there's more candy we could all share. And what if you also did this, and then we could all share that? And having that limitation made it kind of fun. I mean, we'd stand there for a while. He'd be figuring out the math of it and all, but it was kind of a fun thing we did, and you kind of needed each other, kind of like, hey, I just need 3 more cents for this. Oh, you've got, okay, then I'll just give you some of this candy. And it was, I think, again, good for camaraderie. We did things together, and we knew that there was a limit. This was all I had. I can't give you something I don't have. And I really don't want to go to jail. And so they kind of agreed with that too.
Oh yeah, those are great memories.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a great segue to our third question, which I don't think you were trying to segue, but the question was, how do you afford groceries in a family like this? We recently did a whole episode about groceries. In fact, we showed a shopping trip from an old TV series episode from quite a few years ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're so little.
Yeah, everybody was so small, and it brings back I remember that was like it was yesterday. But a lot of people, there were hundreds of comments, and a lot of people asked how you afford groceries. Like, what were some strategies that you did to save money, especially when things were extremely tight, when we were still a growing family?
Yeah, it was a trick. And groceries were tough, and then keeping up with tennis shoes for you guys, because you guys were wearing them out and growing out of them so fast. And that tennis shoes were, even then, $50 a pair. And times 10, it got expensive real quickly. And then the little guys, it's hard to pass those kind of things down because it kind of molds to their feet. But yeah, it was a trick. We ate ground beef, and you guys liked noodles a lot, so that worked out good.
Then we moved to chicken. We used the chicken a lot more at some point.
We started with ground beef a lot, and then you guys prefer chicken for it being more lean, lower calorie, and we could do a lot with it. And now we make, like, our spaghetti and meat sauce is with chicken, and it's fabulous. We do so many things with chicken. Chicken you can get for really good prices. We buy case meat if we can, or thank goodness we had a freezer. We would try to be looking for the sales, and often we didn't use a lot of coupons because we bought at Sam's and at Walmart, and they already are so discounted. But when I did have a coupon, of course I used it, but it usually was a better price if I just bought it from Sam's. And so I'd watch out, they'd have their instant savings. And so when one of the things that we always bought was instant savings, I got a lot of that. And then next time there was something else we bought, let's say it was Ziplocs, I'd get extras of those. And so I always was getting on the lower price. And then of course we'd wash out our Ziplocs. We used a lot of Tupperware. And honestly, we didn't waste a lot of food because they'd gobble it down, and it'd make good leftovers for the next lunch if we needed to. We had a lot of grilled cheese sandwiches, French toast, pancakes, cereal. Oh, just
And that was really efficient because you would buy, bulk amounts of bread or things, and then you would
Go to
have big
Wonder
meal.
Bread.
Yeah, once tried Wonder Bread when it was still around.
and that bread was so inexpensive.
Yeah, and then the French toast was always my favorite
Yeah.
meal, and I guess inexpensive too because you would just
just eggs, milk, and bread in the
Yeah.
griddle, and you guys could tell me if you wanted extra eggy or if you wanted extra dry, and you guys would be right there with it. And I could make a bunch of pancakes, make scrambled eggs. Breakfast is to me one of the funnest things because it's so easy and there's such a variety you can offer with very little effort. And you're just getting 2 griddles ready.
That's my favorite meal too. Is breakfast.
We've always had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah. Whenever I think of grocery shopping, I think of when I was 15, about to turn 16, because I was about to get my driver's license, the first guy in the family old enough. I had a 1981 Oldsmobile that Grandpa was kind enough to sell me, a dad's dad. And you guys would send me out shopping, and I was honored to do it. And I think you guys were kind of eager for me to get my license too, just to have another, suddenly going from 2 to 3 drivers.
When you could go to our local store, because there was a little grocery store not too far away, and if we were short of milk or whatever, you could just go get it, which was wonderful. We never had milk go old or anything like that, but I remember, I think it was you going shopping, having to get 14 gallons of milk and being kind of embarrassed about it. I don't know why that embarrassed you.
Early on, I was a little self-conscious about that, like when I was maybe 16 or so, and I would almost try to come up with strategies like looking at the list, and I'd say, what, like 26 boxes of cereal, what, like 12 gallons of milk? And so I'd say, okay, maybe I'll go subtly get 4 or 5 gallons of milk, then cover with some things, and maybe subtly go grab some more later. But that was a very short phase, and very quickly I embraced it, and I thought, wait, this is kind of funny. Like I'm about to like shock these people, and it's just like comedy is more funny, like the old silent movies. If somebody has a straight face doing something kind of extreme,
you just act real normal, and then everyone's like, "What? What are you doing?"
Yeah. So I came to really enjoy it, or almost like kind of vicariously live through the people enjoying it, thinking, oh, they're about to be entertained in a way. So.
I remember that same store, Mark. Every time a baby'd be coming, they'd be asking him, "Hey, Mom, have your baby yet?" And he kept saying no. And I think it might have been with Mary Elizabeth, or it could have been with one of the boys. But then he kept saying no, and he'd go shopping, and no, he'd go shopping. And one time he said yes, and he kept going shopping, and they chased after, like, wait, tell him, what was it? And it's like, oh man,
sounds like a Mark.
Mark turns everything into some kind of fun, some kind of teasing. But one thing that helped me tremendously, I don't know if it would help someone else, but if you can make a list with the store you're going to and be thinking, like, I never get the freezer stuff till the very end. I don't get the milk to the very end. I get my paper products first. I do this, and I think, okay, this Sam's is set up this way, and I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to make my way that way, and then come back this way. And try not to have to go across the store over and over. For one, you get tired, and you already have a big job to get it all home and put it away. And anything you can do to just be a little more efficient, if you just kind of admit, like, pay attention, what are you buying? I know I'm helping someone right now just organize their cabinets and their closet space. I noticed that she had her Tupperware in 3 different places in her little apartment, but here was some Tupperware and some was there and some was in a cabinet over there. It's like, tell you what, why don't we make one of your cabinets just your Tupperware? And let's organize and make it all fit nicely. And if you don't like these ones, you're never going to use them, let's get rid of them. Let someone else who might need them. And why have them in your way? And that was like a new thought to her. But I know it helped me tremendously when I just decided, okay, this drawer is utensils. This drawer is for all of our puddings and jellos. And so, and this is where we always have our cereal. This is where we always have our sugar. So later on when we would go about to go shopping, I could actually have Mary Elizabeth look at the list and say, okay, let's see, we're down to this many toilet paper. Okay, we've got this. We don't have that. I mean, there'd only be one place she could look for each of those things. She didn't. It wasn't a mystery. Like, do we have some in that coat closet or under the bed over here? You knew that if it's not there, we don't have it.
Yeah, I never thought about that in terms of, keeping an inventory like that. It reminds me of like a convenience store or any business. Like, well, Sam's has to do that. That if they know, okay, we're going to keep all the toilet paper here, all the cereal here. Right.
And if they just had it all over the place, it'd be so hard. And same with our homes, if we can make them organized. And I might be kind of a nut in that area, but I like things organized. I like being able to find what we need and to already life is enough work, and it's like I don't have to make it harder, and just have one place is where we always put this. And one thing good about establishing a place for each thing, then you could tell everyone, hey, honey, that goes in the Jell-O drawer. That goes in the toilet paper, the linen closet. This goes there, and then they can help. They can help bring it up there. Yeah. It isn't only you who knows where it is, and also once I organize that list, and I would organize it the way we'd walk through the store, then I would just go down the list, and it was so much easier. And I could think, oh, I got to get the milk. Well, I don't want the milk in the shopping carts for a half hour while I do the rest of the shopping. Yeah. As it is, it's about a half-hour drive, and we'd always put the milk and put a bunch of the frozen green beans and corn and stuff around it to keep it cold. Yeah. But it already was such a drive, and I didn't want the milk going bad. My goodness! So once you just think it out a little bit, you realize it saves you a lot of time, and it takes what would be an enormous job and just make it a big job.